This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and happy International Sweatpants Day. I know that a lot of us are probably very accustomed to sweatpants at this point due to working from home and being home more. It's also National Cheesy Socks Day, which, again, I'm sure a lot of us have accumulated quite a few cheesy socks over these last several months. It is also National Hugging Day, which is sad because a lot of us can't hug our friends and family, but just keep them in your thoughts and reach out to them and say hello. But you can hug your puppy, which is National Hug Your Puppy Day. And so be sure and hug your dog because they've been hanging out with you while you've been wearing those sweatpants and those cheesy socks. And it's a good thing because they have definitely kept a lot of people sane over these last few months. And something else that's kept us all sane have been books, and really great, fabulous books. And there's a new book out that you guys need to know about, and it's called Wrangled by Lilith. And it is written by the person that I'm talking to today, Remi Carrington, who is also Pamela Humphreys. And she likes both of them, love romance and chocolate, and enjoys disappearing into a good book, and considers people watching a sport. She was born in the pages of the novel Just You, which is Remi Carrington was, and then she grew into an alter ego for Pam Humphreys. Remi writes sweet romance and sweet romantic comedy set in Texas, and you can find her at Facebook, Instagram, and her website. And her newest book, like I said, Wrangled by Lilith, is out today. So welcome to the show. How are you today, dear?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good. Absolutely. So you've got your sweatpants and your cheesy socks ready to go?
Yes, absolutely. That's the uniform.
That is the uniform. Yeah, I've found a lot of socks. I'm like, oh, I did get these like 6 months ago, or however long, and they've been sitting in like the bottom of the bin. So yeah, we've been finding all sorts of fun surprises here as we also clean while we're home a lot more.
Yes.
So tell me, you have in here that this alter ego of yours, Remi, is she was born from the novel Just You. So tell me about how she came about.
The novel Just You has older characters in it, and the main female character had a friend, and Remi, just as I wrote that character, she kind of came to life, and then when I wanted to have a pen name for my sweet romance and my sweet romantic comedies, I just decided that she was that person. And in the book, she was a writer, so it made sense, and so I went with her. But she was a character first, and then became a pen name.
I love it. So tell me about your newest release, Wrangled by Lilith.
So Wrangled by Lilith is set in Texas, set in the Texas Hill Country, and it's about a woman who is recently divorced and very bitter and has sworn off men, and she ends up stranded and getting rescued by a local cowboy. And so that's how the book starts. There's a lot of banter, but it's always got the happy ending. All my books have the happy ending.
Well, and when you wrote it, did you decide to go with a fictitious town, or are you setting it in an actual town?
It is with a fictitious town. I have a town called Stodburg, and this is next to that town, set in the Hill Country.
And what is it based on? What towns did you base it on?
Stodburg is probably a little bit like Comfort or something like that.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, when you're driving through Texas, if you ever drive east-west, you're going to hit I-10, a lot of people, and then you can drive straight across the state on I-10, and you definitely see Comfort off of I-10 when you're coming either into or out of San Antonio. And it's just a little town right there near the interstate. They always have great bluebonnets out there.
Yes.
That's always a great place to go visit, yeah. So, and are you from that area?
I live in San Antonio, and so I'm not far from there, and I try to get out there as often as possible. Not as much this past year, but
Right. I know. And so what are you developing other books from the series? So are you developing other characters, or were there characters that you initially, when you were plotting the books, you said, oh, I'm going to write about this person next, and then a different character spoke to you more and you went with that one, or how did that plot out?
So the next book is going to be about one of the secondary characters in it, but it also crosses into another series of mine. I have another romantic comedy series set in the same area, set in the same town, called Never Say Never, and that's the series name. And a side character in that will appear in book 2 of this series. And
okay.
So
a lot of crossover. That's great. So this is the first of your Stargazer Springs Ranch series.
That's correct.
Okay, and then the crossover is to which series?
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never. Okay, so a little James Bond-esque name there. That's cool. So
there are things we promise ourselves that we will never do, and sometimes we end up doing them.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's very true. And, I'm sure a lot of people have probably said that over the last several months just because we see how quickly things can change. But also that whole, I'm never going to do that. And it's like, you know what? Now's the time to do those different things. So it's definitely been an interesting close to a year now of what everybody's going through. So, yeah. How long did it take you to write this first book?
This book, I wrote it in about 2 months last year, and then I set it aside for a while.
Okay.
And then went back to it and revised it and spent some more time doing that. But initially, it took me about 2 months to put the story to paper. And
do you write from beginning to end, or do you write scenes and then put things together? How do you do that?
Typically, I write from beginning to end.
Okay.
My writing the ending is my reward for writing the middle. So I don't typically write the end until I've gotten there.
Does it always plot out the way you anticipate?
No. I don't usually put down an outline because the story takes its own route once I start writing. So I always know approximately where it will end up.
Sure.
But
sure. Do you so what has been your favorite couple to write about so far, and then what couple have you not written about and want to?
So Bo and Lilith might be my favorite couple so far.
Yeah.
Writing the banter with these two was an enormous amount of fun. And the couple that I haven't written yet that I am looking forward to, there's a lot of those. But I think one of the secondary characters in this book is Ava, and she works on the ranch. She cleans house. She cooks. And I think Ava's story is the one that I'm looking most forward to writing right now, and I haven't started it, but I'm really looking forward to her happily ever after.
Oh, fabulous! So, have you introduced her happily ever after guy yet, or are we meeting him in the book that you're writing?
He shows up as a bit character in some of my other books.
Okay.
And so he actually is at the end of Bo and Lilith, but he's not named in that. He's just there in the scene. And so he's been around, but we will meet him more so in her book.
Okay. So in the Bluebonnets and Billionaires series, you have that series, and then you have, so there's 8 books in that one?
Yes.
Okay. And then you have romantic comedies with the Never Say Never series. And then, you've got plenty for people to, if you are a new to them author, you've got tons of books here to keep people plenty busy. So how long have you been writing?
I started writing in my 40s. I've been writing, I guess, about 6 years, 5 to 6 years now.
And what was the catalyst that made you write? Because you were always a big reader, correct?
Yes, I've always been a reader. I've always loved romance novels. So I started writing after doing genealogy research, and I found a christening record for my great-great-grand aunt for a child that we hadn't seen on census records or anything else. And it was interesting, and there were some things about it that made it even more interesting that sent me searching a little bit more about Beth, was the person's name, and her husband. And in doing that, I wondered what her story was beyond what we could see on paper, the documentation that people leave behind. And so I sat down and just started writing what I imagined her story was. And I got about halfway through, and I sat it aside. And then I gave it to my mom one day, and I said, well, what do you think of this? She called me after she finished, and she said, well, where's the rest of it? I said, well, I haven't written it yet. And she said, but you're going to. So I did. And then after that, I think the world just kind of showed itself as a story, and then I'd been bitten, and so I just kept writing.
Yeah. It's amazing what the different catalysts are that kind of propel us into those storytelling modes, because, you know, like you're saying, you were always a reader, but to sit down and tell that story, it's interesting, isn't it, how it just kind of takes over in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really interesting.
So when you were writing about this person, was it set like a historic, or was it set how you felt like her life would have been now?
It was set historic. They were in the Seguin area, and so the story follows her, and that's in the 1880s. But it also tells the story of the family from the 1700s forward and how they came up from Mexico. And storytelling is a big part of that book.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know that there's maybe this is just kind of the universe telling me I should just go ahead, but there's been this story in our family. It was on my father's mother's side. So it was her mother and aunt arrived in New York in like the 1880s, and they had a picture pinned to their clothes, and they were little girls, like less than 5, and it was a picture of their parents. And on the back, we still have the picture, and on the back it said, you know, thank you for taking the girls, and we'll see you soon. And so they came from France, and so the family arrived, I guess, at the church or wherever the children were taken once they got off the boat. And the best we can put together is, so their father was a ship captain, and my great-great-grandfather was a ship captain, so the Davises, and they didn't have any children, so they offered to take the children because the men knew each other. We assume maybe the mom was sick with tuberculosis probably, or something. And so they sent the children away, but we don't know if the Davises absconded the girls or if the parents just never came because there was nothing else. And, and so I just think about them like, crap. But of course, my great-grandmother, this was her mom and her aunt, and anything that she did know about it, she wouldn't say. So we think that she thought they were illegitimate. And I don't know if they actually were or not. Right. So, and so when it was talked about, she would like shut down. So we don't know what the story is. So I just can't even imagine the whole play out. So I'm trying to get my French better. So if I can go on ancestry boards in France and actually post and read something that someone may write. But yeah, no, we don't know. We don't know. We know about when they came over. We have the picture, we have the names, but we don't know. We just flat out don't know.
What a fabulous story. I'm just, as far as how gripping it is.
Right. So, it's one of those things that I've wondered if I should write the dual timeline type thing to see if we can piece things together. But it would be, I keep hoping that there'll be some sort of European hit off of Ancestry, but so far not so much. So, but we'll see how it plays. But yeah, maybe you telling me that you did all that is the universe saying it's time to write it. So that would be cool.
I think that's true.
So you will be going in the dedication.
Yay!
Woohoo! Which, I mean, I think that's, I know that a lot of people haven't been getting together, obviously, for obvious reasons in the last several months, but having those writer friends is just essential. How has that played for you for writing?
I am involved in some online groups, and then a couple of people that I know locally through groups here in San Antonio. We've kept in touch. We do a lot of Zoom calls and things like that, but we've kept in touch so that we can encourage each other as we write, because it is really important.
Right. And, writing is so solitary as it is, and now we're all, a lot of people are kind of forced into a situation of not being social. And that does, I'm sure it hinders the creative buzz.
Right, because I love people watching, and
yes.
So my neighbors probably think I'm strange that I just watch them walk down the sidewalk when they pass my window. But, that's about all the people watching I get right now. So.
Right. And it's not the same when you see, like, neighbors fighting on the social media pages with each other. It's just not.
Not at all the same.
I mean, yeah, no. It can be entertaining sometimes, but it's just not the same.
Right.
Which, it's always very interesting to see what people get upset over. And yeah,
yes,
yeah, it's interesting. So, but if the neighborhood's big enough, of course, you're not sure who that person is sometimes. So, usually I usually just stay away. I'm like, I'm not posting anything. I'm just gonna literally walk away from the computer very slowly. It's one of those moments. If I move slowly, they won't see me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you've got your romantic comedies going. Is there another genre that you want to write about and haven't yet?
I don't think so. My first full the one that I wrote based on genealogy was a novella, and it wasn't all that long. And then after that, I wrote romantic suspense, and I'm sweet romance, and recently I've started writing romantic comedy, and that's where I feel most at home. So right now I can't imagine branching out to a bunch of different things, but I don't always stick to one thing either.
Sure. I mean, why romantic comedy? What is it about it that makes you want to write more about it?
I love the lightness and the laughter, and especially now, I think that I needed to write it as much as people wanted to read it, given everything going on. But I just enjoy, humor woven through the story, and sometimes scenes that are larger than life and that you can be thankful didn't happen to you, that kind of thing.
Sure. Or even sometimes just you got through it and someone else who's going to read it has gotten through it. So they're like, okay, yeah, there is light on the other end of it. And that's I think the laughter for sure. We need to definitely keep it, because right now there's a lot of frustration going on for sure in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've got this next one coming out, and I'm looking here. You have pre-order. So right now, Wrangled by Lilith is 99 cents. And then you've got your pre-order out for the Enchanted with Joji?
Mm-hmm. Joji.
Okay.
Her
Joji.
nickname.
Okay. And that's coming out in March, so not too long.
Right.
How far out? I mean, do you have the book already done, or is it something that you're just doing the fine tuning on, or what is your process?
I'm doing the fine tuning on that one.
Okay.
I finished up. I wrote the end not long ago. I didn't actually type the end, but finished up the story not long ago, and I'm doing fine tuning on it, and then I will send it to a group of beta readers that I have, and make sure that they don't read it and say, well, this is awful, you really should start over, and so
right.
You get some feedback, and then any revisions that need to be made after that, and then I will release it. And so I'm excited about the second book. I've already had one of my early reviewers ask me if that couple was getting a book, and so I was happy to say that, yes, they're in book 2. So
I love it. Well, and, it's I always love it when people write to you and say, are we, is this happening? Are you going to write about these people? And it's just it's just a good feeling, when people are just
yes.
are that invested in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Although sometimes you're like, okay, you do know they're fictional, right?
I'm totally fine if you think they're real. I have no problem with that.
Yes. Sometimes, though, people do get a little bit excited, and you're like, okay, just calm down. I promise it's going to happen. Just,
right.
Exactly. I have laundry, and so what do you use in regard to the formatting? Because I know some people are really good at just knowing how to format. But I've heard Venmo's a good one, Draft to Digital. I mean, what do you use?
I use Vellum.
Okay. I'm sorry, Vellum, not Venmo. Vellum.
Yeah. I used to sit down and use Adobe software InDesign to lay out all the internal pages. And while it turns out a beautiful product in the end, it takes a significant amount of time. Vellum is much shorter and turns out a beautiful book for just a few minutes work. And so that is what I use.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've talked to several people, and they're like, "Oh, this is just the easiest thing ever." And I keep sitting there looking at it, going, "Okay, what's holding me up is I want to buy it, and then I get to checkout, and it says enter coupon, like if you have one, and I'm like, well, where is the coupon? I can't find one. And I actually wrote to Vellum, and I'm like, you guys have any coupons floating around? Because I go online to look for coupons, and they don't have any. There's not any out there. And I've been in different Facebook pages just to see, if there's like a special, and there's not. But I always get to that, I just kind of stall because I'm like, well, I could, if I wait out the coupon, maybe. I'll get like 10%.
You'll save $20.
I will. I'll save $20, and I'll just be stressing this whole entire time that I'm using just to do a stupid formatting. But I love the setup because you put a book in there initially, and it shows you what it is, but it also shows you what it is in all of the other devices.
Yes,
which is amazing.
Right, because some of the vendors support drop cap letters and some don't, and they will put it out in whatever format that vendor needs, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean that is a huge time saver there.
Yes,
because I've seen a ton of books, and I guess they're good, but after a while it's just so badly formatted. I'm like, I can't. I just was like, I'm done. And that's sad because I know it takes a lot of time to format a book. I mean, to write a book, much less the formatting part.
Yes.
So no, let me qualify for anybody listening. Vellum is not sponsoring this show. I'm just trying to get feedback because I have talked to other friends, and I just need to suck it up and deal. And if I'm going to get them, I get it. But I've also heard Draft to Digital has something, but I haven't seen that yet. But they don't have a print version.
No, they don't have a print version. As far as I know, they have been adding print, so they might have that now, but I haven't used it. I have used their ebook formatter, and it does a nice job. There's fewer presets with Draft to Digital, but it turns out a nice product, and it's easy. It's as easy as Vellum. You just don't have quite as much control.
Oh, I see. But, I mean, the Draft to Digital is free, and the Vellum is not.
Yes,
right.
Correct. And Vellum also only works on a Mac, and so I had to invest in a Mac to do it.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, they were working. No, they weren't. They said they weren't working on a PC version as of yet. So that's right. Okay. So, well, all right. That kind of helps too. So, well, we'll see how this plays. But it's good to know. It's always good to get a good feedback. But I do like the reduced time factor on it. So that's a huge deal.
Yes, and both of those options, draft to digital and vellum, will reduce your time immensely.
Yeah, I remember when all the self-pubbing really took off. Like it was 2011, 2012, and people were really like the word's not admitting, but I mean saying, yeah, this is what I'm doing, owning it, and people were going line by line to format their stuff. And it was just huge amounts of time. And, of course, now we have these things. So there you are. New stuff for someone thinking about all that. So what have you've got the second romantic comedy coming up, and then what's coming after that? Is it that is it a third book in the series? Are you going to add to the other series? What's next?
So I actually have 2 books coming out in March. Book 2 in the Stargazer Springs Ranch will be releasing, and then book 4 in the Never Say Never series will be releasing. And so those will be releasing in March, and then I haven't yet set the release schedule for the books after that, but there will be at least one more in the Stargazer Springs Ranch, probably more than that. And there will be 2 more after book 4 in the Never Say Never series.
Okay. Do you have, when you sat down and initially decided you were going to write these series, do you say, okay, I'm going to write this many books in a series? And is that what you're sticking to, or are you saying, well, I want to write at least this many and see where it goes?
No, usually the characters, it's usually driven by the characters. And so with Stargazer Springs, I could tell from the first book that I had at least 3 books from the characters that were in it. But writing book 2, another character has walked onto the page, and so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a 4th book.
Okay. Isn't that amazing? It's like, oh, thanks for showing up. And, you know. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if, so years ago, Pam Morrissey did this really great just talk about characters and how characters show up and building that backstory and such. And so she'd been writing this book about this guy who's, you know, his parents had died and blah, blah, blah. And she said she was writing, and one day the father shows up, and she's like, wait, what are you doing? You're dead. Go away. And so she, like, erased him. She's so great at telling the story. And so she's like, so the next day she's writing, and the dad showed up again, and she's like, no, you're dead. Go away. And so by the 3rd day, the guy showed up again, and she's like, okay, fine, let's see how this works. And she said it made her story stronger because, you know, there was this dynamic with the main character and this dad who'd done whatever. And so it was easier to do with an actual character there versus like just in the, you know, dealing with stuff, backstory or, you know. And so, yeah, but she the way she told it was great. It's like, no, you're dead. Go away. And sometimes these characters just arrive. You're like, whoa, what is this?
Yes, and I know it's my subconscious, right? But it doesn't feel that way. It feels like a character walks up and introduces himself.
Right. Yeah, it's just funny how sometimes things happen, and I love the fact that we have friends and, you know, writer friends that get this. So when people are hearing it and they're like, what do you mean this character showed up? I mean, they're talking to you. Are you okay? Like, no, really, it's all normal. I promise.
Yes.
All totally normal stuff. So what other than writing, what are your plans for this year, do you think? Your tentative plans?
My tentative plans. So my plans for January are to clean out my pantry, and I know that will make my husband very, very happy. It has accumulated lots of stuff over the past year, so it really needs to be cleaned out. And so that's my project for the end of the month. I figured after my release, then I can do that and tackle it without having distractions.
Right.
So that's one of my big ones that's coming up soon. But organizing lots of stuff is on my list for this year, and cleaning out more stuff, because when you are with your stuff all the time, you kind of realize what you really don't need. And I'm in the mood to get rid of it, you know.
Right. Yeah, when you're home, when you're not home as often, it's definitely like, okay, that's fine. But when you're home all the time, you're like, why do I still have that box? What's in there?
Right. Exactly.
Like, oh. Yeah, it's actually Get a Balanced Life Month and Get Organized Month. So, yeah, I totally get it. So you're right on the money for it.
Well, good to know.
Yes, very much. And so I decided to, being home all this time, and I was looking around, and I decided to get organized with my books, because I have way too many, and my husband keeps saying, so you're getting rid of these, right? I'm like, no. So I actually decided to get super organized. So I went through and separated. So fiction, nonfiction, right? I set it up like Barnes & Noble would. So I separated all that, and then I'm doing subcategories. I have a lot of time, and I'm avoiding writing. So I put all this. So now I know where all my reference books are, which is great, because now I can find them. And my kid, but it's one of those things. It's like, well, this seems kind of a mindless task, but then you realize how many books you have, and you're going, oh, well, yeah, I guess I got to do something about that. So, but I found an app that you can scan all your books, and there's several. Yeah. So I think it's called Bookshelf. I can send you the icon, and I'll post it right up at the show.
Yes.
And no, it's not sponsoring our show. But you scan it, because there's several of them out there that I've tried, and it's like 50% or more wouldn't come up. The ISBN number wouldn't come up. And I don't want to sit there and type them all in. But this one was like maybe 10% wasn't coming up. And I was like, oh, fabulous. But you can sign up to 6 people on this app. So if you have several people in your house, and everyone can scan in their books. So
wow.
I'm not standing there when I do escape to Target every once in a while, or Barnes & Noble even rarely, sitting there going, okay, I know I've looked at this book, but I can't remember if I bought it or if I thought about buying it. I
may have bought a book twice. I might have.
Or may have bought a book twice. Do I want to buy it a third? I'm not sure. So now I know. So yeah, but I'm still having trouble finding shelf space. But I watched that show, The Home Edit, and they do everything by color, which sounds great, like for your pantry and stuff like that or whatever. But they do bookshelves, and I'm just like, I couldn't find anything if we did it that way.
No, I think I like the fiction, nonfiction, and subcategories much better.
I mean, the only thing I could for sure find would be like all the Harlequin stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think I have my project for February now, because my books are sort of all over the place, and I couldn't tell you some books whether I actually have them, or if I used to have them and got rid of it, or I really need that app. So please send the information.
I will, and it's cool because I'm like, oh, I was going to read that. And, that kind of thing. Oh, I love this book, that kind of thing. Or why do I have this? I have a lot of diet books, which I'm like, I'm not going to do all these. So I need to donate. And so I'm going to donate them to the library, because my feeling is, if I'm really, really, really on the fence about it, my feeling is I'll donate to the library, so I can go back and check it out if I really want to use it again, which means I won't. So there you are. But yeah.
That's right. But that's a great way to think about it.
Right. Well, and then someone else can use it. So
exactly.
And thank goodness for libraries, because I know that that's helped a lot of people too. With also, just having some escapism, and I'm sure also for research purposes too. There have been plenty of that. So authors, good for authors all around. Thank you, authors, wherever you are. So it's good stuff. And speaking of that, what authors have kept you, have helped your escapism these past several months?
So Shari Tapscott, she has some romantic comedies, 27 Ways to Find a Boyfriend and 27, I think they're both 27 Ways, and 27 Ways to Mend His Broken Heart. Those two, I really adored those books. They were funny and swoon-worthy heroes. They were really good, and I'm hoping she adds to that series because I have a few characters from the two books there that I want to know their stories, and so I'm waiting for those. Emma St. Clair has a lot of great books, and Sarah Adams is another that I've read quite a bit. So there are a lot of great books out there, a lot of great indie authors. Yes, very much so. And it's just it's impossible to write them all and to read them all. But I mean, they're just so good. There's so many. Do you tend to stick to sweet romance when you read, or do you do different levels? Or I mean, what is your choice? The majority of what I read is sweet romance, but occasionally I've read some others, and I enjoy them. I tend to read sweet romance more than anything else. Yeah. I know I was talking to some writer friends recently, and one who wrote sweet romance initially, and then she wrote some saucy ones, still romance, and then she's back to writing sweet romance because she says it's for her, it's just easier. Like, she just prefer to just leave that part out just because she gets very stressed writing those scenes. And we had laughed about it, I think, a while back because it's like you can only come up with so many words for certain body parts, that don't sound absurd. So, yeah, I mean, I could see why people don't. And then, of course, there's always the different levels of it. So you have that are more explicit, and then you have some that are, sort of like the door's maybe halfway open, and then you have some the door just closes. Right. But definitely the tension's there. So, and definitely you can tell when writers really like writing those scenes versus they're kind of just writing them because it fills space. And yeah, that's just a process we all have to learn, for sure. But yeah, sweet romances are great. Yeah, all of the levels are wonderful. So, other than reading, what else have you been watching anything? Have you been doing any series binging? My husband and I we watched The Queen's Gambit. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that one. And I've started an online belly dancing class, which that's something new for me. I've never done that before, but it's been a way to get out of my chair and move during the pandemic. So that's been great, and I've enjoyed that. So which class is that? I mean, which teacher? It is someone in one of the writers groups that she's been belly dancing for years, and so she offered a group to writers. And wow! And so it's been great fun. Huh. I mean, belly dancing is hard. It is not easy, and it takes a lot of thought while you do it if you're going to do it right. And so sometimes I do it right, and sometimes I just have fun. Well, and what I love about it is, if you go on and see these different belly dancers, they're all different sizes, and they're all different shapes and heights and ethnicities. And, I mean, it's just like there's just all of it. And, man, it's empowering to see those women dancing. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I like about it. So I agree with you. Yeah. Have you gotten like a cute little, shimmy? What do they call them? The wraps? I call it my jingle scarf, but I'm sure it has a different name. But yes, I bought one, which I have to keep up and out of the way because otherwise my cats would probably attack it. Right. I ordered a jingle scarf. I love it. Those are fun, and just walk around and look shimmery and pretty, and I love it. So.
I took a couple of classes, and I have a sister-in-law that took it for years, and she just loves it. And I think it's just a fun. I mean, why not? I mean, honestly, why not? You know,
right?
You just get to the point in your life. You know, hopefully, most people do it before they're, you know, in their 60s, 70s, or 80s. But I mean, even then, you would say, why not? You know, let's just learn to belly dance because it's fun. So, are you going to put belly dancing in one of your books then?
Yes, it will show up in one of my books.
Oh,
I think it will show up in Ava. Pretty sure it's going to show up in Ava's story. So.
Okay. All righty. Well, that's pretty cool. So we'll have to keep that in mind, and then maybe people can write to you or show you their shimmy scarves or whatever it is when
that's right.
You talk about Ava's. I love it. Oh, well. Okay, so we're going to go back over everything. You've got your newest book out now, which is the Wrangled by Lilith, and it's a sweet romantic comedy on the Stargazer Spring Ranch, and that's book 1. Enchanted by Joji is sweet romantic comedy, Stargazer Spring Ranch, book 2. It comes out on March 11th. And then you're working on book 3, possibly book 4. But all that stuff, people just have to keep checking in to see what you're doing and where you are for all that, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. And then you've got your other series also. You'll have books coming out from them as well. So you'll have, 4 books this year?
At least.
Wow.
That's what I'm we'll see what I add to it beyond that. But so far, I've planned for my first quarter, and then I kind of know what's coming after that a little bit.
Okay. So you basically do you sit down and plan your whole year for goals, or do you just do just like the first quarter and then reevaluate?
I do detailed planning for a quarter at a time, and I'll have big goals. Like I want to, finish out all 6 books in the Never Say Never series this year, and I want to put out at least 3 books in the Stargazer Ranch series. So those are on this is what I want to do this year, but I don't plan things like giving them release dates except quarter by quarter.
I see. Well, and that's probably more reasonable and more manageable too, so you're not like beating yourself up with all of it.
I try not to because it's easy to overschedule. For
sure, yeah. Because it seems like, I'm home, I'll have plenty of time, but life is life. Takes over. So for sure. Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you, Remi Carrington / Pamela Humphreys.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So everybody who's been listening, this has been Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio talking to Remi Carrington and Pamela Humphreys. And you can find Remi on Facebook, Instagram, on her website. All the links are in the write-up of the show. Her link for Wrangled by Lilith, her newest book that is out today, is also there. And I will also put the link for the app that I mentioned. And I look forward to talking to you again. Please come back when your next book is out and about.
Sure. I'd love to.
Excellent. So stay warm and keep reading, everyone, and please stay safe.
This show brought to you by Circle of 7 Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.